What's up, guys? Welcome back to the EmpireLUG YouTube channel. Matt here, and today, courtesy of LEGO, thank you LEGO, we are taking a look at the Mandalorian Starfighter, set number 75316. Biggest thing is 3 brand new minifigures, which we are all very excited for. Gar Saxon, Bo-Katan, and of course the Loyalists. Let's go ahead and get started. You got thumb tabs in the set, so if you're looking to keep this box nice, probably not going to work out for you. We got a beautiful instruction manual. Going to be pretty important if you want to build this set at least correctly, in my opinion. We got bags numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is going to be cool. So you got a pretty big one and some sticker sheets for extra detail. Let's go ahead and jump to a quick time lapse of the build for today. Alright, so we actually have the shuttle built, and let's talk a little bit about this. Now, lots of great stuff, a couple of really bad negatives, which of course we'll get into in a little bit. But first, show you guys just how flat this set actually is. Pretty remarkable. This build probably took about just an hour, maybe a little less. It was only 500 pieces, so it was definitely up there. But he's a little bit of a better look. At first, let's talk about the general color, mostly comprised of grays and blues. You guys can see here for details, we have dark bluish gray, light bluish gray. We also have the dark and light blue as well. Overall, I like this color a little bit more than the previous version. Now, as far as features on the fighter go, it's pretty genius how LEGO did it. So basically, in between the cockpit piece and the back here in the center, there's a ball joint. That ball joint allows you to move this pretty much 360 all throughout. It's a really sturdy connection too, so you could literally turn the 360 and nothing's gonna fall off. Like I said, you guys can see here where the set starts to turn, that's where the ball joint is. So pretty cool design and technique right there. A couple of weird and disappointing things. There's a big gap between this cockpit. Now, we've known about this gap for quite a while once we saw images and stuff like that, but you guys can see that's a pretty sizable gap right there. So I'm not too sure what happened. I feel like there could have been other pieces that would have been used, at least to try to get a little bit of a better look. But I mean, that gap is just really annoying. And I know if I was a kid, for instance, playing with this, it would sort of take me out a little bit, because I feel like you probably can't breathe in the space air, I guess, even if they have Mandalorian helmets on. But besides the point, I feel like they could have been using another piece there to get a little bit of a better look for the cockpit, making sure there's no openings and stuff like that. So that's really the biggest complaint I have about the set. The other one is that there is no landing gear. Here's a little bit of a better look at the bottom of the shuttle, and you guys can see there's no landing gear. So when you want to land it, all you have to do is take the wings, fold them up like so, and you can kind of set it down, everything like that. But like I said, there's no landing gear, so you're literally just resting on the engines and then the front parts of the shuttle itself. Not really too crazy about that. I feel like landing gear would have been a really simple thing to add that would have made a lot of sense, but I'm not too sure why that wasn't included. A couple of really cool things about the shuttle, though. I know we just talked about some things I'm not a fan of. Overall, I love the detailing on the wings. The wings are 2 separate wings, primarily made of larger wedge plates, as you guys can see here on the bottom, basically connecting larger plates and then larger wedge plates together, and it gives you this really nice shape. You guys can see it sort of looks like a Mandalorian mask itself, which I believe is actually the purpose behind the Fang fighter, which is really cool. You guys can see all throughout the wing there are different layers of wedge plates. So for here we have the dark bluish gray, the regular blue, sort of stacked on top of each other, and that really does a good job giving the set depth itself. And as you guys can see, it does swoosh very easily. All the play features are really easily activated, which is nice. You don't have to really try to do anything too crazy, and it is light enough to the point where you can hold it by yourself under this one like hand. So we do have stud shooters on the very front, as well as missile launchers on either sides of the wings. Taking a look at the back section here, you guys can see the detail. I actually like how the engines are a little bit different than we might expect. I'm not sure how the older set did it, but the engines pretty much use a bracket, which allows you to get this really cool shape. And on the top, you do have these bigger wedge bricks with a sticker on them, so it does look a little bit more complete, which is nice. We also do have some more stickers along the cockpit here, and then a little cool turret on the back as well. Now, before I put the minifigure in there, what's interesting is the cockpit actually doesn't have any studs. Now, I believe this was because the Mandalorians have their backpacks on them, so you don't want to have studs there because it's going to interfere when you actually put them in. So I'm actually a big fan of how they did that, not including the studs, because that was always a problem, putting minifigures in there with backpacks and everything like that. So for sake of the video, let's go ahead and put the Bo-Katan and the Death Watch Mandalorian. Now you can see here they both fit pretty comfortably in there, which is nice. So it is a nice 2-person, but like I said, the gaps is just the biggest thing about this set that drives me a little crazy. And I feel like it would have been such an easy fix for them to do something different with that, but again, I'm not too sure where that went wrong. I'm sure there's a really easy fix for this if you do eventually take a look at that. But yeah, that's pretty much a really good look at the fighter itself. Like I said, I like it. I think it's a great design. Very minimal things I don't like about it, mostly only the lack of landing gear and then the gaps in the cockpit, but everything else looks really good to me in terms of a play set. So this looks really good. So the first minifigure here we have is the brand new Gar Saxon minifigure. I love this. This is the one I've been most looking forward to out of the entire summer sets coming from LEGO Star Wars. I've been a huge fan of them all Mandalorians, and I've been hoping for such a long time that we get a new one, and we finally do. So we got a brand new helmet mold, which is really cool. Of course, you do get the Gar Saxon head right underneath, which looks very nice. You do have the Maul printing on both the helmet with the horns, which is super, super cool. And then you also have the printing, the red and the black all throughout the torso. There is no arm printing. He does come with a regular gunmetal jetpack, which does look really cool. And just to give you guys a little bit of a look as to what the back of the minifigure looks like right there. Really good detail. I really don't have anything bad to say about this. A really, really small nitpick might be that the horns on the helmet are just slightly too small. But other than that, I feel like this is literally a perfect minifigure and probably going to be my top 5 minifigures of all time just because of how awesome this looks and how they captured that yellow part of the visor for Gar Saxon. LEGO knocked it out of the park with this one. Now in this set, we also see the return of the standard Death Watch. I believe the official name for this minifigure, the Mandalorian Loyalist, excuse me. So this is still pretty much Death Watch. We saw these guys in the Mandalorian Battle Pack from years ago, and we finally got a new one. So a couple of quick things about it. Definitely looks a little more bare bones, less detailed than Gar Saxon. You can see here the printing is pretty much very, very similar. He does have brown hips, which I found a little interesting. A gunmetal backpack, a pistol, and a blaster. I guess I definitely should mention that the printing seems updated, which is nice, and the helmet is a little more dark bluish gray than I remember it being. He does come with a black head because he mostly has the helmet on at all times. He does obviously have the blaster itself. Overall, a really good minifigure. No arm printing again, which is something I'm not really looking for. Here's a better look at the back printing. Pretty solid. Again, nothing too crazy here. I'm really hoping that we get some of these guys and maybe a battle pack or another set that has a more than one of these. But I also did forget to mention the leg printing, especially near the top. It definitely is new, which is nice. So it's always good to see them improve upon some minifigures we've seen before. And then the minifigure I'm sure everyone's been waiting for here. We finally have the Bo-Katan from LEGO. And I gotta say, I've seen custom versions, I've seen decals. This is definitely on par with some of the best customs that I've worked with. So first of all, I love the helmet printing. I think LEGO did an absolute job knocking that out of the park with Bo-Katan. Especially, you guys can see here, she does have a really good printed head. She does have 2 different smirks. So she has like a angry smirk and then a little bit more of a happy smirk right there. And here's actually how she looks with her hair on, which looks great. And she does come with 2 pistols. I figured you guys want a little bit of a better look at the minifigure itself. But you can take a look at the printing here. It's very reminiscent of Jango Fett. Obviously, you have the brown utility belt with the Mandalorian armor. There is notably more silver when it comes to printing for the minifigure, especially with kind of like right above the legs and near the hips, which is nice. No arm printing, just throwing that out there. And then here's a little bit of a better look at the back of the minifigure itself. So I honestly believe that all 3 minifigures in this set are absolutely amazing. Like I said, LEGO nailed the Bo-Katan helmet. It looks exactly like it would in the actual TV show, which is beautiful. So just as a wrap up, all 3 of these minifigures are absolutely phenomenal, and I really don't have any complaints about any of them.
So that wraps up today's review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down below in the comments what you think of the set. Is this something that you're going to be picking up on day 1? Do you like the minifigures? Is it worth $60? Let us know. Once again, huge thank you to LEGO for providing the set for review. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. Take it easy. Bye.